So this is an update on the progress of design, the future. I've had board members request this information. It has landed in your email box. However, we haven't had an open discussion. So that's what today's conversation is about. So what is Design the Future? Next slide, please. When it comes to pursuing our public service mission, Washington County is at a unique moment in history for identifying opportunities to improve our approach to providing our services and for being more responsive to the needs of the community. We actually just had 2 of those conversations today, both on climate adaptation and our budget process. Those are all part of intentionally designing the future as a Washington County agency. Our organization and its relationship with the community have changed rapidly since the current organizational structure was actually put in place. These challenges are multifaceted and range across several of our systems of service, but they all share a common thread: the need for a well-trained, well-resourced, diverse, and inclusive workforce that can function across disciplines and organizational structures, operating as a one Washington County. Design the Future is an initiative that's led by the County Administrative Office, and the key focuses are creating a leading edge organization, mission-focused, human-centered, equitable, strategically collaborative, and more responsive to community need. What is underpinning this is also data-driven decision-making and how we're measuring our progress. Next slide. What will the Design the Future do? I do want to mention that this has been an intentional process. I contracted with Novak Consulting to conduct a County Administrative Office assessment. They conducted over 46 interviews. Those interviews included each of you, so thank you for spending that time, as well as County Administrative Office staff, department directors. They also compared our org structure to 13 peer county organizations. How those organizations were determined is by FTE count, budget size, types of services delivered, and also council manager form of government. So as we move forward in the Design the Future process, I do want to stress this isn't just about restructuring, it's about who we are as an agency. So ensuring that we have shared knowledge systems, processes, and structures. Diane Tadaguchi-Dennis had mentioned retirements earlier this morning. So this is key to the succession and the resiliency of our organization, that shared knowledge decision-making. It also connects to transparency in government. Provide accountability and respect for roles and functions. This is linked to the structure. There was confusion amongst what is the role of the assistant county administrator, the deputy county administrators, and the structure is aimed at clarifying what those roles are so that we are an efficient and well-organized organization. Centering equity within the organization in service to the full community. This is operating under the equity resolution and support of the board. Enable iterative refinement and improvement. Embracing innovation, leaders at all levels of this organization. Individuals who are working on our front line or subject matter experts, many times they are the ones who actually have the bright ideas, know best business process and how to improve, are hearing directly from our community. So how do we ensure that those voices are brought forward into process discussions? Creating an organizational identity and promoting effectiveness, creativity, and more support for our employees. Who are we as Washington County? What is our brand? How does that link to recruitment and retention efforts is also underpinned in this. Next slide. So what will happen and I will touch on this a little further once we get into the immediate next step timeline, is organizational, employee, and vision value settings for Washington County. So this will include employees at all levels having the opportunity to be part of that process as we design what is the agency's vision and values. Restructuring of the county administrative office and functions currently that are structured within support services. And this all will be done to set the stage for the board initiated engagement in the new Washington County Community Strategic Plan. This isn't just about the structure or the strategic plan. We have many processes that are underway that actually support Design the Future. Our strategic facilities plan, our equity, diversity, and inclusion plan, coming to the board later this fall. I actually just met with Chris Gensler, our ITS manager, will be our information technology services 5-year strategy. I will share, Chair Harrington, you mentioned earlier today, plans for systems. That is included on the timeline, so the board will be able to hear that progress. Next slide. I will not spend time on this slide. This slide is the current structure of county administration. It's very complicated. I have met with new employees who have said, help me understand, so who's direct reports? What is the role of a liaison? Under the current structure, in comparison to the other peer organizations that NOVAC had benchmarked, Washington County has the highest direct reports to the county administrative officer, myself. I right now have 16 direct reports. And so the new structure, which will be the next slide, please, actually reduces those direct reports substantially. Relative to the current structure, one staff member in NOVAC made sure I had heard this, is the current structure, we succeed despite our structure, not because of it. And so that lends itself to efficiency too, and clarity of roles. So within the new structure, the Equity and Inclusion Officer will report to me, Public Affairs and Communications Officer, Jack, Finance, Human Resources, Eva Labonte, and then there will be 4 Assistant County Administrators. The 4 Assistant County Administrators operate as portfolio managers. This is the current alignment of portfolios that can be subject to change as we move forward with recruitments. I have found different staff have talents and skills. Also, sometimes the need of agencies change, and so portfolio and alignment changes may be warranted in the future. The one area I do not expect changes to, though, is the second column, that Assistant County Administrator, because that's our Public Safety and Justice departments, and there's very clear alignment within those operating structures. Next slide. So what is the timeline? Over this last month, we have focused on internal rollout. We currently have the recruitment for the Assistant County Administrators in process. I will have the first review of applications on September 7th. I just received an update last night that it's a very strong recruitment and strong interest, which is wonderful. And then moving forward with the One Washington County vision and value setting, we will be having a department director leadership retreat in August, where we will talk about and finalize what that process will be. And then rolling out in September through December engagement opportunities for employees. I expect that the first draft of the vision and values will be ready at the end of this calendar year. Next slide. So how does this fit into what's the future of the Washington County agency? We are One Washington County. Our strength lies in our employees. They are our most important asset. And as we address really complex societal I'll call them wicked issues around housing, homelessness. Operating in that one Washington County space will allow us to deliver future generations of services in a way that's equitable, responsive, and strategically collaborative. And all of this work does link itself to the board's future direction on our community strategic plan. Next slide. This is just a quote that I really like because it speaks to continuous improvement and really examining where we are and then intentionally designing our future together. Next slide. And that concludes my brief update, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the board.